They always fought over money. And I wanted to bring my family to a whole nother level. I wanted to take them out of here, give them bigger houses, better things, and all these, you know. I mean, how much can you give, you know? Like, are you looked at as a dollar sign now?
In the world of Hollywood, where fame and fortune collide, few stories resonate with as much tragedy as the Carters. Theirs is a tale of soaring success, followed by a harrowing descent into darkness, unlike any other in the records of celebrity history. At the height of pop music's golden era, the Carter family stood untouchable, with their eldest son joining the ranks of the iconic boy band Backstreet Boys, and their youngest achieving solo stardom. They seemed destined for eternal glory.
And the winner is
Backstreet Boy.
Aaron Carter! Backstreet Boys, I wanted that
Backstreet Boy.
As the years wore on, the Carters' luck began to wane, exposing fissures in their once unbreakable facade. Addiction, discord, and personal demons tore at the very fabric of their seemingly perfect lives. For a family once buoyed by luck and success, quickly faded, leaving behind a dark reality of dashed hopes and bitter disappointment.
What was it like for you when he became successful? When he clicked?
It was like lightning striking twice.
The Carter family consisted of Bob, the patriarch, Jane, the matriarch, and their 5 bright youngsters, Nick, Bobby Jean, also known as BJ, Leslie, and the twins Aaron and Angel. Once the family of 7, seemingly on top of the world, they were the epitome of success and potential. Fast forward to present day, from a vibrant family of 7, only 3 survivors remain. The once bustling household has dwindled to just 2 siblings, leaving behind a trail of loss and unanswered questions. From the heights of success to the depths of despair, the Carter family's success story reads like a soap opera, filled with twists, turns, and more dysfunction than one family should bear.
You know what a lot of people out there are saying, guys. She sacrificed her life for these 2 boys' careers. She gave them every opportunity.
But at the
these
same- but-
ungrateful boys.
But at the same time, we gave her a job for 12 years.
Troubled stage parents, child stars, arrests, fights, this family faced it all. But amidst the chaos, there were moments of love, resilience, and unwavering bonds. This is more than just a story of fame and fortune. It's a tale of greed, exploitation, betrayal, addiction, and ultimately profound loss.
You think your mother stole money from you?
I think she did. I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but I mean, I know that it was gone. And when I came back to my dad, I didn't have a dime.
This is the story of the Carters, a family torn apart by the very industry that once lifted them to the pinnacle of success. On the sun-drenched streets of Tampa Bay, Florida, a young Nick Carter embarked on a journey that would shape the trajectory of his life forever. It all began with a voice that echoed through the halls of his home, drawing the attention to his mother and setting in motion a series of events that would catapult him into the spotlight. Enrolled in voice lessons at a tender age, Nick's talent knew no bounds. But it wasn't just his vocal prowess that caught the eye of his mother. It was his undeniable charisma and his innate ability to command attention with every note he sang. And so, at the age of 10, he found himself at Carl and DeMarco's School of Theater and Dance, where he honed his craft in ballet, tap, and hip-hop, a young prodigy in the making. From local talent shows to the bustling stages of the Florida State Fair, Nick's star continued to rise, his name becoming synonymous with promise and potential. It was his auditions in the late 1980s and early 1990s that truly set him on a path to stardom.
I really had this choice between being a Mouseketeer, $50,000 contract, or doing this thing with Lou Pearlman and the Backstreet Boys. My mother gave me the choice. I don't know why she left that decision up to an 11-year-old child, but it just kind of happened.
Yet amidst the glitz and glamour, Nick's upbringing was far from ordinary. In the shadows of his success lurked a tumultuous family dynamic. A home life characterized by highs and lows, shaped by the looming presence of a father with a dominating personality, a man who ruled with an iron fist. We all felt that my parents were bad for each other. Their drinking and fighting never subsided, even when money was much less of an issue. Sadly, our parents didn't hide their battles from us. Mom and Dad often brought their fights into my bedroom or BJ's because we were the two oldest. They would say, "We're getting a divorce. Which one of us do you want to live with?"
So when they would argue, what would you guys do? You said that
We would just group together.
We would all hide together.
They would come in and they would ask us, who do you want to live with? You have to pick right now. We're divorcing.
For Nick, success in the music industry was not just a dream fulfilled. It was a lifeline, a chance to provide for his family and to lift them out of the shadows of their past. But even as he basked in the glow of fame and fortune, there lingered a sense of regret, a longing to be the role model he wished he could have been.
For so many years, I was the provider of my family at the age of like 15, 16 and on. I saw so many people that had families and great families and brothers and sisters and they were just, everything was cool and everything was calm and they knew how to communicate with each other. And I so badly didn't have that. And I believe that we did have that at one point before everything started in the business. But then it shattered. It just all came tumbling down. And that's what I'm trying to do, is pick up the slack.
Following Aaron's birth, a glimmer of hope dawned on the Carter family's horizon, accompanied by a modest improvement in their financial circumstances.
When Aaron was born, things were starting to get a little better. We had like a 2-bedroom house, but we still had 5 kids in one household with 2 bedrooms.
Their migration from the shores of Florida to the bustling heart of California marked a pivotal moment in their collective journey. In California's vibrant entertainment landscape, the Carters wasted no time in seizing opportunities.
What do the Teen Choice Awards mean to you guys?
I don't know, it's a lot of fun.
With steadfast determination, they embarked on a mission to cultivate Aaron's music career, leveraging their newfound surroundings to open doors to industry professionals and recording studios. Their efforts yielded results as Aaron inked a record deal with the esteemed label Q Records, paving the way for his debut album. Released into the world in 1997, it served as a testament to Aaron's undeniable talent and marked the beginning of his ascent to stardom. Beyond the realm of music, Aaron's talents transcended onto the screens of television and cinema, where he became a familiar face with audiences worldwide. As his star continued to rise, Aaron's multifaceted talents captured the imagination of audiences far and wide, earning him a rightful place among the pantheon of entertainment luminaries. And amidst the glitz and glamour of the industry, he remained a beacon of inspiration, a testament to the transformative power of passion, perseverance, and unwavering dedication to one's craft. Delving into the Carter family's history, one truth emerges from the shadows, casting a haunting light on their legacy.
Being the oldest of 5 kids, I always had a lot of pressure when it came to the siblings. I became the father in a lot of ways at a really young age due to the fact that I was making more money than my father was at the age of 14 or 15. I became the provider of my family.
While Nick grappled with the demands of providing for his family, the spotlight of fame only served to amplify their existing struggles. Nick's parents, Bob and Jane, assumed full managerial control. Jane took on the role of stage manager, while Bob delved into the complexities of their financial management.
Meet Jane Carter, a typical mom with all the typical mom jobs. But Jane has one job most moms don't. She's Aaron's manager, and she's determined to make him a superstar.
However, as they dove deeper into their newfound responsibilities, the once tight-knit family began to unravel.
I saw it as Nick and Aaron had been robbed of a fundamental relationship in a family between 2 brothers. because they had to focus on their careers.
Bob and Jane, consumed by their managerial duties, inadvertently neglected their primary role as parents. The three girls in the family found themselves overlooked, their needs overshadowed by the demands of the spotlight.
I think in the beginning, my parents started out wanting to be parents. They wanted to, have a family, but then it changed, like when they started managing, and like they went from parents to managers. And
you lost them.
Yeah, we lost them, and I don't really think at this point you can get them back.
I was the one who got to experience more a social school thing, and I ended up with like the really bad crowd. But because my parents were so focused on them, I was kind of allowed to just do whatever I wanted to. I got in trouble, and like I was really, really bad.
Trying to get their attention.
I didn't do it to try to get their attention, but maybe subconsciously I was. I didn't go to school hardly at all. I would come home so up out of my mind, and they wouldn't even notice. No one really ever noticed me.
In pursuit of success, they found themselves drifting further apart, lost in a sea of turmoil and discord. Over time, the family found themselves more immersed in issues of substance abuse, with Jane also grappling with these challenges. Leslie, Aaron, and BJ, each a casualty of war waged within the confines of their own home against an enemy they could neither see nor comprehend. And now, with Angel standing as one of the last remaining siblings, she grapples with the weight of the truth too heavy to bear. That the legacy of addiction handed down from one generation to the next may have been the ultimate reason for their demise.
I often think about now, how did we get to this place? And I think addiction has been a major issue in my family.
The roots of this destructive pattern stretch back through the chronicles of time to a time when Jane was a child herself. In the backdrop of a quaint small town, she recalls a childhood overshadowed by the presence of alcohol, a silent companion in every household, a staple of social gatherings, a fixture in the fabric of their youth.
I first started drinking in high school. That was the thing to do in the small town where I grew up. Everybody did.
In the complex fabric of human lives, there are often pivotal moments that shape destinies. Aaron had the opportunity to break free from his parents' control, but ultimately he chose not to. It was a decision he would later come to regret.
And if you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
I would tell you that you should have did it. You should have got emancipated.
As Angel reflected on her own journey, she contemplated the significant contrast between her own outcome and the tragic fates that befell her siblings. She attributed part of this contrast to the time she spent in a school environment.
I often get asked how things turned out different for me. And I think that it's a few different things. I think one, I was in school the longest out of all my siblings. I was in a structured and a disciplined environment longer than the rest of them.
While Angel benefited from a structured and disciplined environment, her siblings faced different challenges.
Because when I would walk down these halls, I would get picked on a lot, and people didn't like me.
I know.
I was just the weird kid in the school, but...
I mean, I was going to school, but, there were times, 3 days out of the week, I didn't even go, and they didn't ever notice.
BJ struggled to maintain regular attendance at school, while Nick endured a difficult time marked by bullying and physical violence during his junior high school years. However, it was Aaron who perhaps bore the heaviest burden of all. Deprived of the discipline and structure afforded by formal education, he stopped attending school after the 2nd grade. In doing so, he forfeited not only the camaraderie of childhood, but also the vital foundation for his future.
They put me into music right as soon as I was like 6 years old. I just wanted to be home and going to school. And I'm the only one in the family who, I didn't even see a day of high school. I didn't see proms. I didn't see any of that.
Aaron's absence from his prom represented more than just a missed event. It symbolized a lost opportunity for social connection and personal growth. Prom serves as a significant milestone in the adolescent experience, marking a transition from childhood to adulthood. It provides a platform for young individuals to step into the spotlight, to celebrate their achievements, and to create lasting memories with their peers. By missing out on this rite of passage, Aaron may have been deprived of valuable lessons in social interaction, self-confidence, and resilience. Moreover, Prom offered a rare chance for adolescents to come together in shared celebration, forging bonds that could last a lifetime. In Aaron's case, his absence from this pivotal event may have contributed to the sense of isolation and feeling of being left out of a fundamental aspect of his teenage life. While prom seemed like just another school dance, its absence could have had profound implications for the social and emotional development of young Aaron. Aaron had been in the entertainment industry from a very young age. His life was a continuous transition from child star to preteen star to teenager, all while constantly working.
And I think that my brothers were continuously working like adults, and their childhood was stripped from them.
This relentless schedule took a toll not just on Aaron, but on his family dynamics as well. As Aaron's career progressed, so did the financial disputes between his parents, Bob and Jane. These arguments became a regular occurrence, growing more intense over time. By the time Aaron was 15, his parents' relationship had deteriorated significantly. The constant fighting was accompanied by an increase in Jane's drinking, which she claimed was worsened by the discovery of Bob's infidelity. Bob, on the other hand, reflected on his period and admitted that he had fallen out of love with Jane long before the conflict reached their peak.
You never loved her enough to care that...
She put me out of love 15 years ago.
Are you concerned?
Are you listening to me?
You haven't loved her for 15 years?
Nope.
Wow.
You didn't live what I lived, so leave it alone.
This tumultuous period culminated in a difficult decision. Bob and Jane ultimately decided that a divorce was the best course of action for their troubled relationship. During their separation, Jane held on to the belief that Bob wanted to reconcile. This hope led her to sneak back into the family compound one fateful night, aiming to surprise her estranged husband.
Oh, well, she surprised me. Okay? She really surprised me. Surprise, surprise.
However, the reunion did not unfold as she had envisioned.
I said, guess who's back? Mommy's home. I went over to the other house and caught him in bed with the girl in my bed.
The chaos that ensued was unbearable for Aaron, who desperately wanted the madness to end. It was Aaron who ultimately called the police that night, an act that marked a definitive turning point in their family saga.
I get there, glass is broken, there's blood dripping down the door, and, I hear screaming.
And Bob's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what, Jane, this isn't good.
And I was trying to restrain her, and she was a wild woman. She was just ripping up and throwing stuff all over the place.
I pinned my mom down in the bed. She kicked me in my face and threw me off of her.
I ended up throwing a remote control at her, and then I got arrested.
From that moment on, there was no turning back. Amidst the turmoil, Aaron felt emotionally isolated. He struggled to navigate this new reality. The weight of his parents' failed marriage bore heavily on him, and he truly believed that he was the catalyst for their divorce.
I feel like I was responsible for the divorce. As far as I can remember, the first fight I ever saw them get in, I always was in the middle and I was always trying to stop it. There was a point where it was all cool, and even when Nick was in the business, but as soon as I got in it, it got really, really messed up.
It was never cool though, Aaron. You were never responsible.
I know, but at the end of the marriage with them, they weren't fighting over me. They were fighting for my money.
No one seemed to consider his feelings, leaving him to cope with the emotional fallout all on his own. Aaron had long believed that when he turned 18, he would gain access to millions of dollars. He trusted that his parents had adhered to the Cougar Law, which mandates that 15% of a minor's earnings in the entertainment industry be safeguarded in a trust account until they reach legal age.
Jackie Coogan was the first great child movie star. And in the 20s and 30s, he amassed earnings of $4 million. As an adult, he asked his mother and stepfather for his money. And they said, it's gone. In California, the state legislature in 1939 passed a law that eventually became known as the Coogan Act.
Aaron anticipated that his account would contain around $20 million. However, reality delivered a harsh blow. Upon turning 18, Aaron discovered that his account held far less than expected. Unbeknownst to him, the account was in a virtual negative balance. To his shock, he learned that he owed approximately $8 million in back taxes. This staggering revelation was an overwhelming burden for an 18-year-old to bear.
When I turned 18 years old, I got hit with million of taxes. And I had to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy to protect my parents from going to prison for mismanaging my finances. Before 18, the money is already gone.
While Aaron struggled to pick up the pieces of his shattered life, his sister Leslie faced her own personal battles. Despite her best efforts, Leslie's music career never reached the heights and success she had envisioned. However, she found solace and love in her bandmate, Mike Ashton. Their relationship blossomed, and in 2008, Leslie and Mike tied the knot, marking a rare moment of happiness in the Carter family saga. In 2011, their joy was amplified with the arrival of their beautiful baby girl. Leslie seemed to have a special affinity for Canada, a place where she had formed deep connections with her Canadian bandmates and spent significant time pursuing her musical dreams. Yet after the birth of her daughter, Leslie made the difficult decision to leave Canada and return to the United States. Back in the U.S., Leslie sought refuge with her family. Her decision to leave Canada and to return home hinted at the personal struggles she was facing during this period. The pressures of balancing motherhood, a career, and her own well-being weighed heavily on her. Leslie's return marked another chapter in the complex and often heartbreaking story of the Carter family, underscoring the relentless challenges each member faced in their quest for stability and happiness. In January 2012, tragedy struck the Carter family. At just 25 years old, Leslie Carter was found unresponsive at her father's house. According to the report, her stepmother, Ginger Carter, informed authorities that Leslie had a long history of mental illness and was on medication for her depression. On the morning of January 30th, Leslie appeared particularly despondent and had fallen in the shower. Ginger helped her lie down with Leslie's 10-month-old daughter nearby and checked on her periodically. Late in the afternoon, Ginger discovered Leslie was not breathing. Despite Bob Carter's attempts to perform CPR, Leslie could not be revived. Her stepmother called 911, but it was too late.
Do you blame yourself in any way for your sister's death?
There's definitely a part of me that did blame myself. I think that's because of the responsibility that I sort of took on as the oldest member in my family.
Nick found himself at the center of the family's grief and anger. When Bob Carter informed Nick of Leslie's death, the conversation quickly turned accusatory, with the family members blaming Nick for her demise. Tabloids exacerbated the situation, harshly criticizing Nick for not attending Leslie's funeral.
Why did you not go to your sister's funeral?
The reason I did not go was because I actually got the phone call from my father that she had passed, and immediately the conversation turned into not about her death and not about the actual the passing and what had occurred, and more about themselves.
Behind the sensational headlines, Nick's pain was intensified by his fractured relationship with his family, who faulted him for distancing himself from Leslie. Fearing that attending the funeral amid such negativity would hinder his emotional recovery, Nick made the difficult decision to stay away.
Leslie and I had a very hard relationship our whole life. It was really difficult to have a relationship with her, but I was starting to try to stay away from her because the things that I was doing and trying to help her with, they weren't working, and they, you know, when someone's doing drugs, you try to also, you know,
sure,
protect yourself.
Instead, he mourned Leslie in his own private way. Nick continued to tour, finding refuge and catharsis on stage, using music as his sanctuary during this period of profound grief. 5 years later, tragedy would once again strike the Carter household. On May 16, 2017, Bob Carter was doing errands around the house, spending an extended period of time in the sun. He began to experience chest pains and a twitching in his arm. Rather than seeking medical attention, Bob decided to go to sleep, tragically never waking up the next day. Shortly after the news broke, Nick and Aaron Carter took to social media to confirm their father's death. Nick requested privacy during this difficult time, while an emotional Aaron shared the last photo he had with his dad. Bob Carter's sudden passing marked another somber chapter in the Carter family's story. As Aaron and Nick grappled with their father's death, they faced an ongoing challenge of healing in the public eye, each navigating their grief in their own way. Aaron was profoundly affected by the deaths of his sister and father. Even before these losses, he had faced significant personal struggles. The grief only compounded his difficulties, leading to cycles of sobriety and relapse.
I lost my career. I lost my parents divorced. I lost my dad. I lost my sister. How do I keep going?
After his father's death, he battled addiction, but he was making a conscious and active effort to recover. In November 2021, Aaron welcomed a baby boy, Prince Carter, with his girlfriend Melanie Martin. At this time, Aaron was very active on social media, frequently live streaming his daily life.
Are you hungry again? Was I hungry? Oh, was he hungry?
These streams often included arguments between himself and Melanie. Due to the concerns of drug use and domestic abuse, a court mandate temporarily placed their son Prince in the custody of Melanie's mother.
All right, well, this is probably the last time he'll be in my arms. Thanks.
According to Melanie, this event was Aaron's breaking point. She noted that by the end of 2022, Aaron's mental health had significantly deteriorated.
I think that the real downfall was him losing custody and not knowing what was going to happen.
Aaron's ongoing battle with his mental health and addiction, compounded by personal tragedies and public scrutiny, paints a poignant picture of a man struggling to find stability amidst chaos. A sobering reminder of the relentless challenges faced by those living in the spotlight. Aaron's management team, along with his addiction counselor, had devised a plan to get him into an inpatient treatment facility in Utah. However, Aaron was resistant, determined to resolve his son Prince's custody issue first. Unfortunately, things began to spiral from there. Aaron started canceling shows and missing important sessions and obligations, actions that were uncharacteristic for him.
Aaron was scheduled on my podcast. That was in September. I shoot ahead of time. So that means that Aaron's episode was meant to air a couple months down the line.
We had a wonderful guest booked to come on, but currently we don't have an ETA on whether that guest is able to come.
Attention Lancaster units, code 3 responses needed.
We're right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Behind the scenes.
It's okay.
On November 5th, 2022, Aaron's manager was one of the last people to text him before he passed away. On that fateful day, Aaron Carter's body was found by his housekeeper. The coroner's report attributed his cause of death to drowning after inhaling compressed air. The report indicated that Aaron was incapacitated while in the tub due to the effects of the drugs, which contributed to his drowning. This tragic end underscored the severe impact of his struggles with addiction and mental health, culminating in a heartbreaking and untimely demise. The Carter family has been beset by a series of tragedies, each more heartbreaking than the last. Despite hopes that Aaron would be the last Carter sibling to face such a dire fate, the cycle of sorrow continued. BJ Carter's story is eerily similar to those of her siblings. Deeply affected by her parents' tumultuous divorce, BJ struggled with alcohol dependency throughout her adult life.
BJ is very damaged from the whole divorce. She was really damaged, probably worse than everybody else.
Her battles with addiction often led to run-ins with the law. In 2002, BJ was arrested on 2 counts of battery after an altercation in which she claimed to be defending her sister Angel. Her troubles continued with DUI arrests in 2003 and 2008. Perhaps the saddest incident occurred when she was charged with retail theft for stealing markers and stickers from a Hobby Lobby. BJ faced an additional charge of possession of fentanyl. Tragedy struck once more just 2 days before Christmas in 2023. BJ was found unresponsive in the bathroom of her Florida home and passed away the same day. The coroner later ruled her death as an accidental drug overdose, caused by intoxication from the combined effects of fentanyl and methamphetamine. BJ's untimely death is yet another dark chapter in a family history marked by loss and heartache, underscoring the profound toll that substance abuse and unresolved trauma can exact on even the most resilient individuals. The Carter family saga is a true reminder of the darker side of fame and fortune. Bob and Jane, driven by ambition and greed, exploited their children's talents, prioritizing financial gain over their well-being. The allure of Hollywood's glitz and glamour masked a reality of manipulation and control, leaving Aaron and his siblings to navigate a treacherous path fraught with emotional and financial exploitation. In the end, the Carter story is one of profound loss, of innocence, of family unity, and of potential. It serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of placing fame and fortune above the fundamental values of love, care, and genuine support. As the surviving members of the Carter family reflect on their past, they carry with them the weight of these lessons, hoping to forge a future free from the shadows of their parents' choices.
Children need to have their innocence, and Aaron did not. He was working like an adult from a very young age, and he just wanted to be home.
For now, Angel is an advocate for mental health, specifically focusing on children's mental health. Nick, however, is dealing with the consequences of his alleged reckless past. The story of the Carters stands as a poignant testament to the human cost of fame and a somber reminder that true success is measured not by wealth or celebrity, but by the strength and the health of family bonds.
I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. But mostly I'm judged without ever having a chance to share my side of the story. And trust me, there's always two sides to every story.